What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. So if you guys have seen my community post I did towards the end of 2021, I actually said I was going to be making videos around content creation, photography, videography, and you guys seem to be quite interested. So I thought I'll kick off this series with basically a big tutorial on how I do a review step by step. And that's what I'm going to talk about, well, right now. So this video is going to be quite a long one because obviously there's quite a few different parts to doing a review and different styles of review as well. Now I'm going to be covering how I do reviews, but obviously it's going to be different depending on the style of review that you do. So anyway, let's just get started. So I've just finished filming the review for this, so I thought, now's the perfect time. So here's how I get started with my reviews. First thing I have is my basically list of all the things I like to cover. So we have a loom shot for the intro, and then the proper introduction where I actually start talking, and then the specifications. Then that's followed by design, movement, bracelet or strap, and then the summary, because that's pretty much all there is to a watch. And of course, if you want to cover history and all that stuff, then you can throw that in as well. I don't, but that's just, my personal preference. So then I have this. This is the important thing. So you've got your order, and that's just so I don't get confused and film things out of order, just for my workflow, just to make it a little bit easier for me. So then I have this. So this is basically my cheat sheet. So it starts off with specifications because that is the first thing that I cover. That is then followed by the second set of specifications, which are your materials and everything like that, which falls into this category. Then I covered design, so I don't really need to look at this. I basically just relay what I'm seeing on this watch. So I just talk about, the bezel, the dial, the hands, the indices, the crown, the case and everything. I'd cover all that off. When I'm finished doing that, I then be like, all right, well, I know next is movement. So then I have all my specifications for my movement written out. Now, usually I can remember, especially the Seiko movements, I can remember that. But a lot of times if I'm reviewing a different movement, like say this one, the Hangzhou, that is different set of specifications. So writing it down just means I don't miss anything off or forget anything, which is really handy to do. So that's that. So it basically flows in order. So we have specs, design, don't need it, movement, there. And then bracelet and strap, it's in my hand, I can just relay what I'm feeling. And then at the bottom, any issues I'm having with any particular watch. Usually the list is quite big because there is a lot more issues. This one, what I've just filmed, barely any issues at all. And that's what I do, that's how I lay everything out. And that just helps me cover everything you guys need to know in an order that makes sense, in my opinion. So now all that is filmed, you basically just, take your watch and talk through your talking points. And it's really as simple as that. So anyway, now we've got that part of the video done. What I need to do now is head over to my computer and show you, well, stage 2 basically. Right guys, so now we're on my PC, I'm going to show you basically phase 2 of my review process. So what I do is I take my initial footage, what I've just filmed, and drag it into my video editor. And then basically I just drop it exactly where it needs to go. So now just wait for its process. It usually doesn't take long, depending on the specifications of your PC. So first thing I do is basically just sort out any little issues I'm having. But before I do that, you can actually see my sort of, template basically. So here is pretty much all the things that I have in my review. So you can see I've got this, what I do here, where I show you what I'm wearing today. You don't have to do that, it's just personal preference. Then I've got my template there for my dimensions, template there for specifications, my little subscriber thing, and then we've got the movement, and then any text, if I need to put any text in the thing, I like to have that pre-done, so all I have to do is just change the numbers. So things like this don't change obviously because my wrist size doesn't change, but like the taper of the bracelet or the strap, All I have to do is click on that and just change the numbers. So it's really simple. So I'm basically not having to do anything, and it's really straightforward. And then I have my little outro card, which usually goes right at the end, so I just drop that there, and that's pretty much that bit done. So now I actually start making changes to the video, and because I know my setup quite well, I know pretty much the ins and out of everything, I know exactly what I need to do, which is why I can do it so quickly. So what I do now is just go to the color tab, and I know my lens is not very sharp, so basically I just use this tool here and just add a little bit of sharpness just to make it a little bit crisper. I also know that my camera shoots a little bit with a hue, so if I just add a little bit of blue, which is a little bit too much, about there. And looking at my skin tone, that is pretty much bang on to what my skin looks like. And that's pretty much it for that. So that's basically what I saw when I was filming. So now we have the audio. That is way too loud. You can see it's peaking right up the top. Don't want that. So basically just make it a little bit quieter so it's nicer for you guys to listen to. So you don't get any shock with it being quite loud. So now that's pretty much sorted. So then what I do basically now is just go through my review and look for, well, basically any issues, I get rid of it, and I'll show you how to do that now. And you can also see I'm going to pop up another screen so you can see how I actually do the next part so fast. So I'm not going to film all of this because it does take a while. This is the longest part of the review. But I'm just going to show you just quickly, how it all works. Before I do that, though, I just need my my sheet. So I've got all my information. So if you can see, I've got all my cheat sheet there, and I basically just copy this information into the relevant places, which is why having it written down is another little trick for speeding up your process. So you can see I've got this dead bitter area. Don't need that because nobody wants to be waiting for that. And then you can see this is just the intro, where I show you what watch I'm working on, what watch I'm wearing. So basically I'm not wearing the San Martin today, I'm wearing a different one, so it'd be the Bulova Day. So that lets people know if they're interested what watch I'm wearing today. And then here is something I need to change again, because obviously this watch has different dimensions to the last watch I reviewed. So basically all I have to do now is just input all the new information. So that's pretty much as easy as that. So then it's just a case of just changing numbers. I don't have to design this again. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is just change a few numbers. And of course I can move all that around in a minute, because obviously it's a little bit too close to the edge, so it's going to crop it off. So I just use like these tools here, move it to the side, move it down a little bit. And don't worry about this covering that up, because it won't matter in the next part. So now we've got that out of the way, we move on to this. I'm not going to show you that because obviously it's just going to take too long if I go over every single detail. Now I'm going to show you the bit where I can really speed through a review. Obviously I'm not going to show you guys like all of it, because like I said, it does take a bit of a while. So what I need to do now is basically listen to my review and know when to move like these boxes. So what I'm going to do now is play my review and then find out where I start talking about the specific portion. So this is my introduction, so I'm just going to play that now. What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch, and today so that's my little thing again. Octopus Kraken Field Watch. Right, so I know that's fine. Now I just need to listen to when I actually start talking about the dimensions. Detail about what I like and what I don't like about this watch. So this one is 35. There we go. So you can see this one is, and that's my key to move, this to there. So basically I just have to grab all this. I clicked the wrong thing. Grab that, grab that. That then moves to here, because that's where I started talking about this sizes. So now what I need to do is basically put a cut point there. This is going to be completely different depending on what software you use. I always recommend DaVinci Resolve because it's so good. It's a really good piece of software that's free. So what I do now is, now I've marked off my talking point, I have to listen to when it ends. So basically now I'm just going to listen to this bit. 5.9 mil diameter, so sub 36 mil. Really good for us guys with slim wrists. 38 compact one. Right, so there. So now you can see that is all my specifications about sizes. You can see this one overlaps a little bit, so what I have to do now is grab that, and then move this to the end, because that's where I start on the next part. So now all I have to do is drag this to size, move that to the end, and that is basically my specifications nearly done. But I'm just going to show you what other things I like to do as well. So I'm going to have to make that a little bit smaller actually to show you the next part. This is really awkward doing it like this, by the way, trying to record and film and everything. Why aren't you moving? There we go. So basically I just need to make that a little bit shorter, because you can see like here and there we've got these little gaps. I don't want these little gaps in my video, because one, it increases the length, and two, they serve no purpose. So basically I just grab my cutting tool, cut, so that didn't actually do anything. Why are you not cutting? Oh, you're being awkward. Right, okay, I'm gonna have to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it's just being awkward. So cut there. Now usually I'm playing my video while I'm doing this, but I'm just, for illustration purposes, I'm just showing you what I do. So basically just chopping all this up. Let's just move a little bit, and you see we've chopped that. Let's see what else we can get rid of. So we've got a big one there, like a pause in my speech. We don't need that. And then we've got another pause there, another pause there, and then we've got one right at the end, but we'll sort that out. So now all I have to do is basically just click on these and just, well, delete them. Of course, obviously they're adding nothing to the review apart from making it longer, which is, you know, what I don't want. So basically I've just took a few seconds off my review that's basically just dead air. So now I can basically drag this to size. That's already there, and then I pretty much do that for each bit of the review. Now the reason why I can make cuts here is very simple. I put footage over the top of this one, so basically my hands are all going to be choppy and moving. It doesn't matter, because it's getting covered over with footage, which is why we have this paper here. So what I do now is see the time where I start. So basically I've got my Loom intro already written, so then I do a little arrow. So the next shot I do is specs, because that's what I'm covering on my thing, and that starts at 45 seconds. So you can see I know exactly where to put my footage and what time it goes. So then the next shot will be at 1:08. So 1:08 is specs 2, so that's going to be a different shot to that one. And then basically I just do this all throughout the review, and then I basically go back to my PC, make all the edits, all the cuts, and I'll show you at the end like what this looks like when I've done editing the review. But we're cracking on in time now, and I don't want to be wasting more time. So once this is done, I'll show you what it looks like finished and how we move on to the next step of the review. Actually, before we do that, one other little quick tip. If your software can do this, color match. So basically, change the clip color so I know exactly when it starts and exactly where it ends. So what I'm going to do now is get the editing done. I'm actually going to leave it recording, but I'm not going to talk. And then basically I'll just time lapse it so you guys can see, you know, the entire process, and I'll you know, just get it done. So that's all done, we can move on. Right guys, so that is done. Video is done for this stage. So you can see everything is color coded, in and out points all done. Refer over to this part, you can see I now have exactly what I need to know. So I need to know, you know, how much Loom I need to film, how much are the specs, in and out times of every single one, and that's why I write the times down. I've remembered now. So basically, now I know. So this one's like over 20 seconds. If I film for 35 seconds, I know I've got enough footage to cover that portion, what I need. So basically, I know exactly what shot to film, in the order to film it in, and that makes my workflow so much quicker, because now I can just say look, I basically film the loom last, that's last, and then I film from here onwards and then do the loom last, because obviously you need to be in the dark to get a good loom shot. But again, I'll do that in a separate video. So I start from specifications and then film in order, and then it's in order on my camera, and I can just put it exactly where it needs to be. Right guys, so apologies for the audio in this one. I'm filming on my mobile because obviously I can't like do both at the same time what I need to do. So basically I'm just showing you what I'm doing now. I'm filming B-roll. So you can see we have my watch just here, and basically I'm just filming the first part here. So this is the specs, and you can see we've got this really ugly glare, so I just get a piece of black perspex and just cover that up, so just give me a really nice clean looking dial. Of course I can alter the brightness, because actually that is a little bit dark. And there you go, you can see we've got no reflections and it looks really nice and clean. And this is basically all I do now, is just film to my list. So if I'm not going to use this shot anyway because it's a bit of a mess, but you can see my list now. I'm just going to basically shoot every single one of these using different backdrops, different positions, different compositions, and I'm just going to go through my entire list and film every single one. And then all I do now is basically, now I've got all of these, I take all the footage back to my computer, and then all I do is just drag and drop, which I'll show you right now. Right guys, so now we're on the final stretch of the review. It's been a long one, but here you can see I've got a folder with my thumbnails, which I'm going to do in a separate video. And of course the loom videos. Now I've just done one today instead of doing my usual macro shots, because someone actually requested to do a fully timed one to see how it fades. So what I'm going to do is drop this in first. So this is a big clip. It's actually nearly 20 minutes long. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the audio, because obviously we do not need that. So I can get rid of that. So now what I need to do is pretty much find out when I stop shining the UV light on it. So I just need to wait until it changes colour. Ah, there we go. So you can see the loom video starts from as soon as I take the UV torch away there. So now I can grab that, make it smaller, and now if I go to this, your software should have this clip speed. Now I can change that, and I think, oh god, it's probably going to want to be like 3000. So is that, how long is that? I want it to be around 20 seconds, I reckon. Any more than that and I think it's a bit too much, so we actually want to drop it down a little bit more. So clip speed, so we'll try 2500. Oh god, no. Let's try 2800. And then we'll just get rid of that a little bit because I can't be bothered to do it anymore. So that's the intro, and then we'll drag our music down, and then we do that, and then we fade it out. So obviously, you know, we don't want it all like that. So there's my intro. Now that is a little bit boring, admittedly, isn't it? I mean, it's all sped up, so you can see it fading and fading and fading and fading and fading. It's a bit boring though, so what I'm going to do first is stabilise it, because I think it's gone a little bit wobbly. Now this is going to take a while, so I'll cut back when it's finished. In fact, you know what? It's fine. Yeah, I can't wait for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dynamic zoom on it. So that's going to basically give you a slow zoom. I'm not putting usually I might put like a rotation on it. So let's do that. So we're going to start there, and we're going to get our rotation. So we click up here, start at 0 degrees, and then I want to end the clip at around 7 degrees. And then I have to, because the clip is rotating, I have to change it to 1.2. I know that like off by heart now, and that way it's cropped in and you don't get any like dodgy looking footage over the edge. So now if I play that, I don't know if my computer's going to be able to handle the 4K and the speed up and the thing. It won't. But now it should zoom in and rotate and be sped up. So you'll get to see that the final video. So now I've got all my footage thing. I can drag that back to where that stops. So my total clip length is around 13 minutes. So I've taken around 2 minutes out of the video from the earlier process. So now all I have to do really is just grab my footage and just drag and drop it. And I've filmed it in order. So all I have to do now is just grab this, drag it, drop it, shut off the audio because obviously we don't need 2 streams of audio. It's a little bit out of focus, but it'll have to do. And then we'll change that. And what I'm going to do now is just colour correct. So again, I know my lens shoots a bit funny, so I have to just change it to blue. So that colour corrects, and I have to sharpen it up a little bit. I'll just give it a bit of extra sharpness because I didn't quite nail the focus. And now I just drag it. In fact, I'll just grab it forward a little bit. Drag it and drag it to size, and that is pretty much it. And then all I have to do is the text box is there, and I know off by heart now to film the watch on this side because that's where I put my text, and the same for the other side. I film at the other side, so you can see I filmed at the other side because I know my text is going to be on the other side. So again, I do the same thing, drag and drop, and I'm also going to show you like how to do effects and stuff in a different video because that is like a different kettle of fish. Alright, so I've messed up the filming on that one, but that's not a problem. I can just move the text box over like that, and that's pretty much it. And now I grab that, and because it needs colour correcting again and sharpening, so like that. Get out, that's a bit too much, about 4:5, it should be enough for 1080p. Little bit of colour correction, and that's it. That's pretty much it. And now basically I just go through and drag and drop all my footage in the right order. And this, we're adding effects, takes around, because all the text is done, everything is done apart from, putting the footage in. So now all I have to do really is just, drag and drop my footage, line it up where it needs to go, and that is it. Once you've done, you click render, and that's it. Just wait for it to render, and it is really, I know there's like quite a few steps to it, but once you've got it like down, you can get a video done in no time at all. I started and I've actually filmed 4 videos today, so it's been quite productive. So I started at around 10 o'clock. It's now, you can see, 20 past 1. I'll be finished at about 2 o'clock, and that's from start to finish. 1 full video, and then a few other videos I've filmed as well for the channel. So yeah, it doesn't actually take long once you know the quick steps on how to do everything. So I hope you guys have found this useful. I'm not going to film the rest of it because it's basically just dragging and dropping and resizing, and that's pretty much it. And then of course adding effects, but again I'm going to cover that in a separate video, like how to do like the cool shots and stuff that I do, because it's actually really easy to do. And it doesn't require any like camera skills at all, which is really awesome. So anyway, that is that is pretty much it. I know this has been a massive video, but I hope you found it useful and how to do a review from start to finish. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, like the video if you enjoyed it, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads, and of course follow me on social media at Mr. Budget Watch. Thanks again, I'll see you soon.